Welcome back to the Beyond Infinite podcast. This is episode number 9. It is the best Marvel Snap podcast on any platform ever. That's voted the top Marvel Snap podcast by everybody that plays Marvel Snap.
This is true.
Totally. And it is starring your typical co-host. It is your boy D Money, along with ItsGuestGaming. Welcome to the show. How are we doing today, guest?
Good. I'm glad you caught yourself and not say stream because it is a show. But yes, I'm happy to be here. I am happy to be here. I'm here trying to ingest everything because it is an absolutely exhausting day for me in a good way because all of us were actually surprised with some Marvel Snap news that we'll talk about. But I'm mostly irritated because I know our audio listeners are not going to be able to enjoy all of the salt you are rubbing into my wound as you sit there so sheepishly with your Twitch partner t-shirt to the gentleman that got shot down on his Twitch partner first app. It hurts. It hurts, you asshole.
Well, they don't even give out these shirts anymore anyway, and this is all they give you for free. Like, this was the only thing that I got for free. Like, it's not even, you don't even want this amazing looking shirt that makes you feel so official and awesome. And everybody comes to the chat and they're like, whoa, you're a Twitch partner. I didn't even realize based on the check mark. I just see the shirt. That's insane.
Yeah. That's how you bagged Z. Now I know it. Now I get it. It's just the swagger of just the Twitch partnerness. That's fine. But hopefully, that experience on Twitch will pay off because it'll mean you know what the hell you're talking about today when it comes to the world of Marvel Snap, because we had a very exciting week, a lot of cool fun surprises to say the minimum, between the patch and new cards and new events and new locations and all of the D of the above. It's just, there's a lot going on, and you've got to try to squeeze 2 weeks of content, you good sir, into this podcast because we don't know where you're going to be. It'll be Where in the World is D Money next week. So if you're feeling good about diving into the chaos, I am feeling good about it as well.
Yeah, let's do it. Marvel Snap getting some exciting stuff, and starting with, I don't even remember what we're starting with because I didn't write it down.
To kill a...
Oh, wow. Riddles. Mockingbird. I think it's Mockingbird.
There you go. Yes, because it's definitely, you can't kill a cannonball. That's for damn sure. But let's open up with Mockingbird because it's currently very relevant to say the minimum because she's fantastic. She's a 5/9 who just joined the game on Tuesday. Costs 1 less for each of your cards in play that didn't start in your deck. And I was theorizing that she was going to be an absolutely fantastic card. Many people were saying she's going to be an exciting card, very diverse, great power, not Shang-Chi-able. And at least to me, she has lived up to every single expectation. She is absolutely fantastic. I have had a variety of different successes with her, and she's just good power without threat. I have thoroughly enjoyed Mockingbird. What do you think about the new card?
Yeah, the card is strong for sure. Not surprised about the power level. I am a little surprised about the flexibility of the card, though. I don't think it's actually impactful in so many decks. I feel like we've seen it really shine, of course, in Thanos. I mean, with the it gets a reduction every single stone that you play. So people are dropping it for 0 with no problem very easily. I mean, you drop Kiara as well in the deck, and then you can't even be touched, and it's like
Kiara? Who the hell is Kiara? Kiara? I've heard of.
Right,
which game are you playing? Is this another Miss Japanese translation? Dude, you're moving there. You got some. Yeah,
I've just been.
We got to work on this. Come on.
I've been practicing my Japanese. Yeah, that's the thing. Getting a little confused, but with what was it?
Kiara.
I've never even pronounced it like that before. I don't know.
Like,
let us know in the comments.
It's Kiara.
You just said what I said. No.
Finally.
What did I say?
I don't know, Kiori or whatever the hell it was. Like, it was just, you had other vowels that don't exist in the name. But continue on. You've got Stones and Thanos and Mockingbird.
Yeah, so the stones don't die. You play the Mockingbird for 0, 1, whatever. Like it's very good, and it can't even be shanked, like Guess was saying. In Thanos, which was already like the best deck in the game, now it's just enhanced it even more. So you have that along with Cold Obsidian. It's crazy. Um, and I feel like that's where a lot of the outrages has been because of the Thanos deck. But besides the Thanos deck, which we knew that it was going to be in, um, I feel like it's been also shining in Patriot, and it's been giving Patriot kind of a new light. And I personally don't enjoy playing Patriot decks. I haven't enjoyed that in the past, but it actually has made Patriot pretty fun for me. Not gonna lie, just giving it more, just something else to do, just besides the typical game plan. Um, yeah, it just gives it more options, makes you think a little more about how you want to set up the Mockingbird, and yeah, it works with Mysterio very well as well, which has been pretty fun to see. So, yeah, I've been enjoying the card. I think those are like the two decks. I don't think anything outside of that is too crazy with it, but has been proven to be very strong. Yes.
Yeah, the Patriot build was kind of a no-brainer for Mockingbird for me, which is why I built the Patriot and Junk deck. I hybrid the two decks. It's done incredibly well. I put it up on YouTube. People seem to love the deck. It's getting infinite tickets now. Like, it's probably one of the decks I'm most proud of because it's a combination that did not really exist before, and Mockingbird kind of unlocked the hybridness of taking advantage of the demon and the void in a different way in a Patriot deck because Mockingbird synergizes so well to it. So I was very happy with that. I'll disagree on the short mindedness of it because I was getting it to work in Phoenix Force. I was getting it to work in Discard with the Ebony Blade as well as the Swarms. Like, I had a variety of different decks where Mockingbird constantly felt good because it's never a bad thing to drop a 5/9 at any given point in the game, yet alone at any point earlier if you can cheat it out or advance it. It's like the A bomb, the evolved A bomb, where if you could get some reductions on the other side, okay, it's great to play that A bomb down for cheap. But on the other end of it, if you get no reductions or they put down a Luke Cage for that matter, all of a sudden when you were going to play A bomb plus other things, you can still put down A bomb and it doesn't feel terrible. It's still a 5/9. That's why I think, the strength of this card is in its flexibility, but it's not too flexible. It's not like a Cull Obsidian is, where it is more flexible, but you risk it against Shang-Chi. This is taking a little bit of that risk down and a little bit of that flexibility down. And people are already talking about, should they reduce Mockingbird's power? Should they make her a 5/8 or a 5/7 because it's so easy, quote unquote, to reduce her down? And honestly, I don't think that needs to be the case because in those decks like Patriot, which are always just short of being a competitive deck, cards like this help to bring it up to that possibly competitive level, out of that C plus now into B tier or B into B plus tier type of a bump. This is what we saw with Proxima Midnight. It bumped up discard tremendously. I think Mockingbird's doing the exact same thing. But in Thanos is where everyone's going to default to because it's so incredibly easy to drop down Mockingbird for next to nothing, and it synergizes with the entire rest of the game plan of what the deck is organically doing. So for that combination of reasons, she's a very good card. And we saw it with Cull. It's going to be a flexible card, but the end result will probably end as Mockingbird is only, quote unquote, a Patriot build or a Thanos build. And I don't know if that double association is healthy, but I like that she specifically helps Patriot because a lot of decks needed a lot of help. I think that's safe to say. There's been you know, Thanos, and then, oh, look, there was Loki, but then there's always been Thanos. And then we had a little bit of Rise of Junk, but then there's always been Thanos. It's just, it made me so happy when the patch dropped. And they said, that love for Thanos you have? Here, let's go ahead and take some of that away. Because they nerfed the hell out of the Time Stone in this week's patch. And I don't want to talk about the entire patch because some of it's just irrelevant, but I think the Time Stone is worth talking about in simply saying, after playing the new version of Time Stone, where it now just draws a card and gives that card -1 cost, I think this is the perfect adjustment to the Time Stone.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more balanced than it was, and it definitely needed an adjustment. It was the most powerful stone, and I definitely have been calling for a nerf like this for like 7 months at this point. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Just saying, I predicted a few things that have happened recently. I'm just calling it out. I'm not trying to flex, but
Slightly.
Darkhawk did get Darkhawk did get changed to a 5-4 recently, and I called that like 7 months ago on a video. You can go in the past and look it up. That
Okay.
exact change I called that, and then Time Stone I had said needed to be changed to uh reduce. I said reduce a random card in your hand and draw the card by one, like reduce the card by one.
Yeah, pretty close.
But this reduces the one that you draw, so it actually makes it. It's actually more of a hit than the one that I was calling for because now you don't know what you're going to actually reduce. Like with my change, like you know you're going to reduce one of these cards in your hand, so maybe you want to play it now. But this is a big hit to it because of that factor. Like you don't know what is going to hit that reduction, and then if that's actually going to help you in any way, if it's really going to aid you, it probably will. But yeah, that stone was the most powerful stone besides the Soul Stone, and Soul Stone had gotten changed, so it was time for the Green Stone to get leeched on, and yeah, we like to see that. And speaking of leech,
Ah,
uh, yeah, Leech has been kind of nuked in a lot of people's opinion, including mine.
oh yeah.
And yeah, now if you did not know, Leech instead of not being an on reveal, just being like a regular thing, if it's on the board on turn 6, every card in your opponent's hand is just like is nullified. Like it's the effects are gone. And now it is an on reveal, same stats, 5/3, and it gets rid of the on reveal effects. It removes the text of like on reveal cards in your opponent's hand, like on reveal. It's an on
Mhm.
reveal card, and that was an unexpected. Like Leech has been toxic. Like it's been like a relatively toxic card for a while, but I didn't expect it to get hit that much. Like now the card just does not feel playable at all. Like you have to, I don't know exactly what you're targeting with it now, and the main thing is that it's still at 3 power, and it's like so hard to play a card for 5 energy that has 3 power and feel good about that. I don't know.
Snaps over here because, dude, that's exactly what I said. When I first saw the change and I covered the change, I was like, I like the effect. I hate the cost and power of the effect because they recognize in here in its own description Echo, Mobius and Mobius, Shadow King, Kyera, Supergiant. Even in that same realm, you could think about Rogue and Enchantress and Cosmo. And what do they all basically have in common? They're 4 cost and less for a restrictive effect of something on the battlefield and in your hand, like Mobius does. So to me, I love this effect, but it doesn't make sense at 5/3. I think that this is much, 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 much better as a 4/4. I think just, +1, -1 on it, give it a 4/4. So that way it's on par with Enchantress, which is a very strong effect. And this is also a very strong effect, but the timing of that effect is just as important. And to do it on the turn 5 for 3 power doesn't make any sense. And originally I thought, okay, maybe make him like a 5/5 or a 5/6, give him that little oomph that he needs so he's just a playable card that has a beneficial secondary effect to it. But I think the solution is actually to bring him down. I think it is to bring him to 4 cost or like 3/1 or something of that nature. He's got to get dropped down. And I think 4 is that happy little sweet spot for him. I don't think 5 makes a lot of sense. It's too much of a sacrifice for this type of ability, which is supposed to be narrowing a very specific type of disruption. Right now, given the amount of on reveals, I see why they're justifying 5 cost. I just personally don't agree with it.
I would agree with you on that, but Zabu exists. That's like the whole thing. I
Yeah.
feel I feel like since Zabu exists, it like just limits what second dinner can do with these cards, because I feel like they know like if they make it 4, it's gonna be 3,
But it's a
and
double-edged
like
sword because if you Zabu it, that's an extra turn for them to draw an on reveal. So you got to pick your
it's
battles.
true. It's just getting rid of the under, like since it hits the whole hand that early. I don't know. That could be too good, but you also might not hit too many honor reels. Yeah, it's really tough. I don't know. I'm sure they tested it. I'm sure
Yeah,
they tested it.
just a tad.
And but yeah, it definitely needs something. Whether it's like gonna be minus cost or like the plus power maybe helps it. I don't know. Yeah, it does not 3 power. Just not a 5-3. But I'm glad that they are making changes and trying things in general. It's always what we want to see. Because everything just stays the same, or they just always make like tiny adjustments. Like, and it's gonna be boring. And yeah, we like reworks. Reworks to cards that are like really strong or just very underplayed or whatever, or just like inherently toxic. They don't let you play with your cards or something. Like they need some kind of change. So yeah. Good to see that. And then what else we got in the patch that looks interesting to you, guest?
I think for me, the big one is probably actually not even the cards because, there's little changes here like Mantis and Cable and M'Baku, but
Mhm.
like to me, I think the unspoken changes that were in the patch are actually what we should speak about, and that's the graveyard. Them adding in the graveyard functionality into the mobile client, into the game client itself, is a big deal, and not because it makes the game better. If anything, it actually might be making the game worse because
Mm.
some of the most important tactics in the game are actually now sacrificed because of the graveyard. For example, everybody loves Eliath, right? Everybody plays Eliath. Everybody destroys things with Eliath, right? But did you know that in your graveyard you can see what the unrevealed destroy card is? That's a huge competitive advantage that never existed in any platform before. No tracker, you could see what was destroyed. Now the game tells you, oh, it was, you played a ramp deck and Galactus on 4. Congratulations, you destroyed this. On turn 5, you played Eliath. Ooh, we destroyed their Iron Man. They're officially done. Yeah, that's a big deal to guarantee that you know that snap or you know what's coming into play here. I think that that's very specific type of change for the null tracking, for the like uncertainty of the game. I'm not a fan of that specific mechanic that you will get to know what you destroy on the unrevealed cards. And same thing with Lamentis 1. It's working the same way. If you destroy your entire deck, you know exactly every card that was destroyed. And now it's basically just a process of elimination. Because if you're going up against a Thanos deck, for example, okay, how many stones were killed? Got it. So they're sitting on the Power Stone. How many 6-drops were killed? All right, so they blob still probably in hand. Awesome. Snap. Like, you can know all of that when you never knew that before. The unknown was a huge competitive aspect to it, and this is robbing us of that, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of that part of the graveyard, even though overall I do like it. That specific piece is a big problem.
Yeah, it is kind of like a secret balance change in the game because it like you're saying, it does benefit certain situations, especially with Eliath. If you kill someone there, it just makes it better, theoretically.
Yeah.
Um, but it's interesting. I think I don't know if I like it or not. I kind of like that you actually get to see what happened. But yeah, I do understand the like being on the side of like just being on the other side and being like you didn't want your opponent to know what got destroyed there, because that does add a little like secrecy, a little depth to it in a sense. um like now it kind of like spells it out for you, like you're saying, like now, like these are the only options that can be in there. Like I don't have to deal with this at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what to play around all that. So I think it's interesting. And it is confirmed that it is intended to be like this. It's not a bug that it shows this kind of stuff. It
Right.
was confirmed by a dev. And yeah, that is a new dynamic. So yeah, when you're in the game now, if you click on your profile or if you click on your opponent's profile picture, avatar, then you can click on the graveyard and you could see what has been destroyed. And I do like that it's like actually in the game right now. I just
Mm-hmm.
thought it was funny when they said in the patch notes, like, you ever look away from your screen and your opponent plays Yondu and you didn't see what got destroyed or something like that.
Yeah.
Now you can check it out. And then I messaged in the creator Discord and I was like,
Mhm.
well, Spider Ham, like, what if I look away and my opponent Spider Hams me? Like, why can't I still like I think you should be able to click on like Spider Ham and like see what you turned into a pig, and there was no response. But
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad that
saw
they
that one too.
made it a little, yeah, I'm glad that they made it a little better for if you're just not fully paying attention every single second of the game. Like instead of like they obviously don't have an action bar, like a history bar yet in the game, so you can't see exactly what is like transpired in the match.
Mhm.
But at least they're taking steps to uh, just alleviate having to have that, or just like alleviate the pain of looking away for 1 single second. Yeah.
Yeah, when we announced it, I was live at the time, and the first comment that comes on down is, "Thank God, I feel all right sneezing now, finally, while playing Snap." Because it's true. It's just like you lost it so super fast with Spider Ham because it's a flip of a second, and there's no way to see what it was. I've done that on stream where I'm sitting here going, "Hey, chat, I missed it. I heard it because I went to
Yeah.
take a bite of my lunch or something," and all of a sudden you hear that sound effect. Like, crap, it was a ham. What did it hit, chat? And if it wasn't for chat, I'd have no idea. But if I'm playing on my phone, I have no idea either. Overall, I do think the graveyard, like I said, is a good thing for the game because it gives mobile players the access to information that PC players regularly have access to. But that piece of the graveyard, I just don't agree with as a piece of information that should be available to everyone. If it's not revealed, you shouldn't see if it was destroyed or discarded. I think that's just plain and simple to me, at least to me. But
I would agree to disagree, but I don't know.
yeah,
I still seeing it play out.
yeah,
I
me
want to
too.
see it play out from both perspectives and everything, and see how I feel about it. But
Yeah,
since it is intended, like I want to give it like a shot to see, like
of
maybe it's
course.
fine, you
Yeah,
know.
of
And
course.
as they add more cards that will have these destroy effects, I guess, then it could change the element of it. But it's just like an interesting thing that, yeah, it's not a balance. It's not included in these balance changes, but it does change the balance in some kind of way.
Yeah, for very specific cards and locations, I agree. But one of the flipping on the opposite end for me, one of the coolest things that we got in the patch finally were the custom borders because the custom borders were something we knew would be coming to the game at some point, and then the way they've implemented it superseded what they even explained to us when it comes to upgrading a card because now we have this awesome hybrid ability, in my opinion, on inked cards, which is the number one that I wanted to see in those 3D awesome animated style black and white effects. And it makes that specific finish for a card looks so much more elegant. It's so smooth looking. Like, I'm a huge fan of these custom borders and building them on. And this is, the devs confirmed this is level one of what's to come with this type of customization, where later you'll be able to take splits from other variants of that card and put it onto a newly acquired variant because you unlocked the split, not just the split on that variant. So there's lots of cool things to kind of, look forward to when it comes to the art layout of the game. But this first step with custom borders, I think, is a huge step in the right direction because they're really pushing the cosmetic monetization very appropriately. They're really honing in on, we want you to have good looking cards, and that's how we make money. It's not by being competitive, it's by you having good looking cards. So we're going to give you as many tools as possible to customize your investments as beautifully as you would like. I really enjoy the new custom borders.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I can only compete if my cards are looking like pristine, like that.
Yes, this is
That
true.
gives me a
This is true.
competitive advantage. All right, if all my cards are matching the same border and we're all in unison, then it just like makes sense.
Smooth.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, just a little breakdown for those that are not familiar with what happened, just to go a little more in depth. So basically, so there's they definitely hit on some things, but they also missed on some aspects. But like you said, there's exciting stuff coming in the future. But just to clarify, so we had talked about this before, and there was some confusion because the way that they keep wording it with these these custom cards, like the customization of the cards, like it keeps confusing people and thinking like people keep thinking that they're gonna have more customization than they actually do, and then they get upset that they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so like the whole thing that is added into the game pretty much is that now you can select what border you want on your cards. Um, as long as you've gotten it, as long as you've like gotten a card to infinity, then you can select whatever border you want on that card on whatever variant. Even if I have another variant that is not even like it's just common, I can still select the infinity one on that or whatever
Mm-hmm.
border, even if I didn't get that one upgraded itself. But yeah, so basically it's like only you're just like only choosing the border. That's the only thing that kind of changed. And the way that they worded it, like you're gonna fully be able to customize your card however you want. You can put this on this and do that with that. And everyone's like, yo, okay, I have a gold here. I have a golden card here, and then I have a Kirby Crackle on another one. Like now I
Yeah.
can make the perfect split. No, that's not gonna happen because they still want us like the perfect split to be like something that you work towards and like you get lucky with, and it's like a whole like triumphant achievement and everything. But there's still there was still a lot of confusion with that, like because the way that they laid it out, even like the way that it's kind of laid out in the game, it like makes it seem like you're gonna have more options than you actually do thus far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were up in arms about it because everybody wants everything all at once. And when it comes to this, they tried to really lay out for us as creators to help spread the word as cleanly as possible. This is what it is right now. This is what it will evolve into. This is phase one. Phase two will then allow you to move your finish and split from one variant onto another variant of the same character. But for now, it's just these borders. Enjoy. And they're excited because it's all an element of the custom card. The first step to it of the custom borders is one that we've all been talking about for quite some time. We've wanted custom borders for a while here in the game, and now it's finally here. Okay, cool. Let's enjoy what we have. I think it's a fun little,
No,
cosmetic piece. But
no, I
what?
want it now.
No, you can't have it. You cannot have everything. You can't
Yeah,
play
this
the
is
entire game
version
for free,
one.
the whole routine. You
Yeah,
can't
this is
have all the
version
gold
one,
either.
but yes, I can.
I mean, you can
I could
now.
buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can now.
Um,
There's the gold pass, which is a kind of a
true.
cool thing because I know.
That is true. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get
Yeah,
to that in a second. Just a few more things on this. There's
shoot,
actually a lot to these custom cards. So,
shoot.
like Guest was saying, um, yeah. So now you can make. We have the technology with these custom cards. There are some like niche things that you can do, but also that you can't do. So you can make common if you put a common or an uncommon or even a rare like border on something, it will still have the 3D and animated
Mm-hmm.
and frame broken animations and everything,
Yeah.
which was not possible before. That's what Guest was alluding to before with the Inkified, because everyone usually like keeps the Inkified cards in the common state because then it's like the white border matches the black and white, and it
Mm-hmm.
does look gorgeous. It does, but you don't have the animation, you don't have the frame broken, you don't have the 3D, the shiny logo. So
Mm-hmm.
now, if you select that on anything, not even just Inkified, just like in general, as long as you've gotten it to like the upgraded whatever in the past, I'm pretty sure, then you'll be able to get those effects still, which is awesome. And it does allow for some more customization. We love that. But also, there's some people. There was a question like, what if I don't want it to be frame broken, and I like it without the frame? I want it to stay within the frame. Like now, if I select the common thing, like I can't, like it only is frame broken and only animated and only that, and that is a thing. There's not full control over it yet, but the devs said that they will. That is like on their potential feature list for the customization. It's definitely like it's still only version one, but yeah, you can't select exactly how you want it. Like you can't also when it comes to like the effects on your split, like if I have a golden, let's say I only have a golden with like a um like one of those swirly things on it. I can't
The tone
disable
flares.
the swirly thing. Yeah, I can't disable the flare on the card. I
Right.
have to put that flare on, which it's definitely could use some work because I there's a lot of times where like it kind of takes away from it, or it just doesn't look as clean with certain flares on. So they did hit on some things, but there's still some misses. But it's to be expected. It's version one. Just some little nuances that you can do or not do with the custom card so far. Yeah.
Yeah. On the video podcast, I have my Brazilian sunspot, my Carnival custom split where it's inked and then has the awesome green effect and animated green border, and then it's highlighting the sunspot shine logo at the same time. So you're getting like all of the mixtures of effects happening at once because of the new custom card ability. And I do think it's a nice piece to what the game wants you to do, which is to really customize your collection. And they've preached this in multitude. Customize your collection to look like how you want it, and this will definitely do that. This is now going to take those those cards to that extra level for you to really truly enjoy playing the game the way that you want to. So I'm happy with it. I still haven't even tinkered with all of my cards yet. I haven't, seen which ones I need to put splits on, or, work towards or play more now to get more boosters or whatever, but I'm I've been having fun tinkering with making it just look a little different, because we're still trying to learn the new cards, we're still trying to learn the new mechanics, we're still trying to learn the new menus. There's so many different random things. Is there anything else from the patch that jumped out at you that you're like, "Oh, this is a big deal"?
So they did reduce. They actually reduced the frequency of certain locations. They always like adjust like how frequent locations pop up,
Right.
and they notably reduced the frequency of like some locations that benefit destroy decks,
Yeah.
which I thought was a little interesting. Even though I thought I was gonna be playing against like Thanos all day, every day. Like now that Mockingbird is out, and I played against it like all day the first day, but then yesterday it was like all destroy decks. And even with this reduced frequency of these locations, I am still getting wrecked by destroy. I'm just putting it out there. Like destroy is strong right now. Jeez, I don't know what
Still,
happened. I don't know why everyone's playing it, but I guess they know that it's strong because it is really strong.
it's a
Um,
straightforward deck. It's easy to run. It's got big power. So yeah, you might as well try to remove out a couple of the extra pieces that you don't have control over, but just happen to benefit your opponent. Just I don't know, your collapsed mine, which just brings that death down to one. Yeah, we can reduce that down just a tad.
Yeah, some good reductions in frequencies, but also the main thing with the locations I think is Subterranea. The biggest part of the patch, like I tweeted, the Subterranea going from 5 rocks to 4 rocks getting shuffled
Yeah,
into your deck. Let's go, man. That's actually Ben Brode's favorite location too. So they must have like really pulled his arm and like yanked his chain, to get him to change it. Like that's when you know that the location really needed a change. All right, if you got Ben Bro to actually approve of that, because
I blame
Subterranea is
Darkhawk.
one of the most toxic. I don't know, and nobody really likes it except for Darkhawk players, obviously. But
Yeah,
um, the whole thing about Subterranea is like it's just like whoever draws more rocks loses, haha. And it's like, yeah, like sometimes it just shuffles those rocks and you only draw rocks for the rest of the game, and it just feels like absolute crap. So now you will only draw all 4 rocks instead of all 5 rocks.
this is true.
So it just
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's actually a pretty like it's a pretty big change. Like that one rock is going to make a big difference. I think over a lot of games. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. It's an annoying ass location, and they also fixed with the locations. They fixed the ordering of how locations work out, and now they should, keyword,
Oh yeah.
they should all now be procking from left to right, because there was some weird ones that was, I always used Starlit Citadel as the reference of like, if that's on the board, no matter where it is, that location will always take precedent. We didn't know why, but it was that
That wasn't even
way.
true though. I've seen multiple instances where Starlight Citadel didn't even go first. and then it like messed me up. Like there were like there you just had to like know these random
Yeah.
locations that would take precedent over one another, and
Mhm.
it was just dumb. Like if they say like the whole rules of the game are that the locations are going to trigger from left to right. And now they finally do, and that's a big thing because now you actually don't have to sit there and guess if Hala is going to go off second and kill your entire board, and you just lose. So it's very nice. We love to see that.
This is true. This is true. I was a fan of seeing the small little updates into the locations, and then little there was a billion other changes and patches and things that they added on in here. But the last piece of the patch I think I want to talk about that to me made a big difference was Meek, because
Oh yeah.
we talked about it here on the podcast because both the Yondu effect and the Meek effect that were for like a couple of hours or 2 hours or whatever it was, like a few weeks ago when they implemented an OTA, these texts went live on the card, but the effect didn't go live. Just the text was there. And I remember talking about it and we were going, okay,
Yep.
which one would you want to have the most? And we were both on the idea of we want Meek to have this effect. And now that Meek has the new when you discard a card, this gains +1 power and can move next turn and gives you agency of where you want to put that Meek movement if you want to move Meek at all. That is a huge, 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 huge win for discard because Meek moving was such an annoying thing that would mess up more often than not, especially if you didn't want it to move on the final turn. And then it was working, but wasn't working with, Dracula and Invisible Woman at the end of the game. And it wasn't giving that power, even though it technically was a discard. They've just rounded him over, and Meek now is like a staple of what good discard should be now. And I will find the discard deck that breaks into the top of the meta again, not just mid-range meta, but like top of the end meta, because I do think that Meek is an incredibly powerful card. I think Storm is consistently slept on as being a meta breaking card, except in control decks. I think that now she has a home in discard because of cards like Meek where you have that control. He is amazing. Have you played him in his new form?
I've not played him, but I've played against him, and yeah, the change is usually a benefit, but there actually is like a small case where you want it to move at the end of the turn, like on turn 6 especially. Like sometimes it's actually like a tiny nerf. I can't even really
What?
necessarily think of the situation. I've had situations though where I did want him to stay in that lane and then move at the end of the turn. Like usually only on turn 6. It's like very niche situations. Like maybe if my opponent could like send something
Oh,
over
like
to the
Rickety
lane,
Bridge.
or like that, yes, where then he will move over to the location and take the location. So
Yeah.
there's very niche situations where it could be beneficial for it to have that old effect, but yes, this new effect is just better. It's just way better.
Yeah.
Being able to choose that location, and like usually with this card, like you didn't really mind it being random since you could fill up the locations with like the swarms, so you would actually be able to really target it anyway. But yeah, this just makes it more consistent for sure, and that's what the card needed. And he is pretty strong. He's a strong little bug for
Yeah.
sure.
Agreed. And I think the thing that makes him so strong in particular is the direct synergy with Modok, where now after the Modok does his piece, Meek has essentially evolved into Vision. And the scary
Yeah.
thing about Vision in that moment is, does Vision move or not? And then where does it go? So now, as an opponent trying to play against a Meek, you're trying to figure out where is that Vision moving? And that uncertainty is one of the biggest competitive advantages for discard decks right now. That uncertainty of, I have power, but do you think I'm going to leave it here or not? It's why I absolutely detest the location New York, because turn 6, the entire board state can completely move and it's literally unpredictable.
A board of Meeks.
Yeah, it's just a full board of Meeks, a full board of Visions. And Meek is now in that category where it has a move available to it. You can kind of guess when it's a Nightcrawler or when it's a Jeff, because you've played it early and you've been factoring in, is it going to move or not? And then there's a bunch of cards on the end, and you've basically probably figured out the game plan over the course of the game. With Meek, he's just a floatable power that as long as you discard on turn 5, you have no idea where he's going to end up on turn 6. And I think that that makes discard a competitive deck, and there needs to be a little bit more testing done with discard to bring it into the meta, in the top meta, because I bet you that Meek can now bring it there.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of people that were like surprised to see the Meek change, but if you listened to the Beyond Infinite podcast a few weeks prior, you wouldn't have been so surprised. That's all I'm saying.
True.
We did talk about that.
We told
I
you.
guess I was saying. Yeah.
We warned you.
Yeah, we predict the future here. Just saying.
And speaking of the future, let's look to the future, my friend. This is called a segue, because we're going to take a look into the card that'll be rocking the meta, but probably not really. Cannonball, who is coming to the game. Cannonball is a 5/8 on reveal. Move the highest power enemy card here away. If you can't, destroy it with a rock. I'm going to let you start first.
Cannonball. That's my start.
Good start.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting card. It's obviously going to be good if your opponent has the filled up locations. The other two locations are filled up, which honestly nowadays in Marvel Snap, like they do fill up quite a bit, especially with all the Thanos gamers. It has decent stats. I don't think it's like overpowered by any sense, but it is it's cool that it actually like targets a specific card. Like it's gonna target that big boy, and can either like it has a little flexibility with either it's gonna move it or it can destroy it, which obviously destroy is gonna be the one that you want to get. So maybe for junk, like it gives it like a whole new kind of thing to play with, but. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't really have like too much to say about it. I think it's like, I don't think it's that bad, but I also don't think it's that good. Yeah.
That's a pretty fair assessment, because as we say, every Thursday I'm doing new card videos, and I sat down this morning, was prepping Cannonball, and in the beginning of the month when I was theory crafting Pixie, I had said that making Pixie's decks was one of the hardest videos I've like theory crafted for. Then Cannonball came around this week, and I felt the same way, but for different reasons. I felt like, what the hell am I going to do with this? Like, I was really struggling to try to figure out what synergies are going to really make him shine in some way, shape, or form. And, I've got him in control decks. I got him in move decks, of course. And only after I finished the video did I think of only one other synergy that could be really fun, and that's with Wong. So it rapid fires out 2 cards to different locations from that location, or rapid fires out 1 and then ends up needing to destroy the second one. I really struggled with trying to figure out anything, because I just don't think he's that good.
Yeah, it's definitely the worst card that we're gonna see of the month, because this is a very strong month for Marvel Snap. Basically, like every card is like borderline busted, and then you have Cannonball, which is like, it's all right, I guess. Like, do you know if it's Series 5 or 4?
It's Series 5.
Oh no.
I know, I'm just as upset about it too, because this is the second month in a row. Second dinner. We're counting, okay? Second month in a row of all Series 5 cards. In my opinion, there is absolutely no reason for this to be a Series 5 card. I legitimately think that they made him a Series 5 card to justify the same spotlight week as putting him with Kitty Pryde, who synergizes with the Season Pass, and Ms. Marvel, who's one of the top cards in the game. I think that's why they've left him at Series 5. So that way you wouldn't use your tokens on Series 4 exclusively. You're being forced a Cannonball.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Cannonball is gonna find a spot in many decks, but it's an interesting card in
We'll try.
general with the two effects. Yeah, we're gonna try. All right. If you tune into my stream, the D Money stream or the It's Guest Gaming stream, we're always trying to break the meta. We're always trying to do unique things. You never know what you're gonna tune into. I mean, you hear the crazy concoctions that Guest talks about on some of these episodes, so he's testing some spice over there.
Oh yeah.
So I would check into that.
I
Um,
I have one spice deck on Cannonball and that's it. Like I was trying to really like go funky in some weird way, and I built a destroy deck that's not a destroy deck. I built a deck that's just destroy your opponent. It's like Yondu, Electra, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Gladiator, Cannonball, Null. So it rocks Null, but none of the standard destroy cards like Carnage or none of them. It's only destroying your opponent's cards, Shang-Chi, etc. And it's the only spice I could try to think of. And I know the deck I made is a stretch, but I'm going to try it anyway because it could be what leads to finding a package of like, Cannonball plus this and this is a 3-card package. Maybe that's the direction he ends up going. I'm sadly pessimistic about this card, but I think that's also because we're coming off of a Mockingbird week and also still looking forward to War Machine while the season of Hope Summers is still going on, and then there's just this Cannonball. So I don't know. I'm not thrilled about him. I'm gonna get him, of course, just like you. We're completionists in that aspect. We're gonna get him, but there is one perk. There is one exclusive perk to Cannonball, and then it's that he has a bonus, at least for the next week. So you'll be able to take advantage of him for like
oh
2
yeah.
days in the brand new limited time event, Avengers versus X-Men. Have you heard or looked into full detail of what's going on with this?
So I saw that. Yeah, I saw that if you play a certain amount of X-Men or a certain amount of Avengers on the board, that you get a bonus of some sort.
Right.
But then I
So
saw that there's 70 different ones, and I was like, I'm not reading this at all.
here's the case with it for those who are not aware with Avengers versus X-Men. If you run a deck that has a higher amount of Avengers, you can get different bonuses to proc off, and the same thing with X-Men simultaneously. So for the Avengers decks, if you put 3 Avengers teammates into the same location, that location gets +3 extra power. And then for X-Men, if you've played 4 X-Men, they all on the board will receive an additional power. So I love the Avengers location bit because in my head, I'm like, wait a minute, Iron Man is an Avenger and counts in that list. And they gave the whole list of different, uh, different cards that do count for each category of Avengers and X-Men. It's not all of them. People are already calling that out. It's not every single Avenger and not every single X-Men. It's just a very large amount of each. Let's make that clear. And
It
second
may
dinner's
as well
aware of
be
that.
all of them. I don't know.
It,
It's
it
a
might it
million.
might as
There's a
well be all of
million.
them, but it's not. Deal with it.
Yeah.
But they like people are already talking about the fact that like they said, okay, Team X-Men, and then they put a bundle in the store, and it's Juggernaut for Team X-Men, and then Hulk for Team Avengers. But Juggernaut isn't in the X-Men list of
Uh,
cards. So that was a miss. And I even confirmed that with Glenn. Like, is this intended? Are we sure Juggernaut's not supposed to be on the list? And he confirmed, yeah, it was just it was a miss in trying to get that in time, to get him in there in time. It's like, okay, all right, it is what it is. But I sat down and I was like, because I did an announcement video on it, and I was trying to think of different decks and packages and groups that are in here. And I think the only way to really capitalize on this is, at least to me, is you got to go all in. You got to put at least 9 of one of those groups and do like a 75% X-Men deck or a 75% Avengers deck so that you don't have to think about it. The only other way, and it's something I plan on doing tomorrow for stream, because I have a half and half deck. I have a deck that's 50% X-Men, 50% Avengers, so 6 and 6. I'm going to take advantage of the new custom borders. I'm going to use that effect, take all of my X-Men, put them into the red border, and then take all of my Avengers and put them into the gray border. And then
I
I'll
like that.
always know which one is which, and then I just have to put my gray ones into the same place. That's all you have to do to remember how to get your effect to pop off. Ooh, 3 grays into a location, +3. Got it. We're good to go. Moving on to the next game. I want to not think when I play the game, even though the game is all about the maths. And sometimes just color coordination is all you need to be happy. And I loved the Valentine's event because I thought it was unique. It was a little convoluted, but unique. This, with the proper planning of like sit down for like not even 20 minutes, look through the lists, pick a couple of one of the teams and put them into a deck and then build around it, that bonus will pay off, in my opinion. I think it's a good event this time.
I like it. Besides the fact that like I said, it's just there's too many things on the list. Like it's so overwhelming how many cards are there, and like then if you don't know, like for me, like I don't really know Marvel too well. Like I see the movies sometimes. Like I've watched like the Avengers movies, but like I can't. If you ask me, like if you put me on the spot here, you say name 10 Avengers right now. I'm like I don't freaking know, bro. Iron Man,
Really, you
Captain
actually
America,
couldn't name 10 Avengers?
probably not.
Go.
But I'm not doing it. I'm not going for it. But like I don't really know Marvel lore too much, so like for me it's very overwhelming to think about or to like look at this whole entire list. Like I'm gonna do it just for the content and try to I'm gonna make a full deck of like Avengers or X-Men and we'll try it out. But like compared to the Valentine's Day kind of thing where it was just like 10 different couples and that was it. Like the 20 cards. Like this one, it's a lot to look at and to remember. I do really like your idea for the color coordination with the new customization.
Yeah,
I
might
do
as
think
well
that you
use
should
it.
I do think that you should use blue instead of gray though. I think blue versus red, it's kind of
Yeah,
cool dynamic,
it'll
but
look good. I was just thinking like the
yeah,
Avengers logo is like black and silver and black and gray, and then X-Men I think of, red and black. So I was like, all right,
I
I'll
don't
go
even think of
silver and
anything.
red. I know because you colors are hard for you. It's okay, but
I just
just
play
like
the
numbers.
glowing cards on the board and then just like hope
Ooh,
that I win.
shiny! This one, I want this one. I don't know what it does, but it does stuff. That's fair. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you might as well use it if you have it. So that's how I'm looking at it. But I think it's a fun event,
Yeah.
and there was something I don't have an image for it. I'm not gonna lie. There was something that was being talked about when it comes to the actual. Actually, I do have the image for it now that I thought about it. The imbalance patches is as they're calling it here. And a question was asked to the devs about will this replace OTAs and are we going to be getting different cues about is this a cool idea that we want to embellish on in the future? And Glenn has said that it's something that they're actually considering. They're considering about making a separate queue. So you have, your conquest queue, you have your ranked mode queue, and then you have your specialty queue or whatever they're going to call it for these extra embellishments in the game modes. Is this
Yeah.
something that would excite you because of our experiences that we've had with the Valentine's Day event and now what we're going to be experiencing this week with Avengers and X-Men?
Yeah, I would actually like that a lot. Kind of reminds me of like Hearthstone in a sense, where they have Tavern Brawl, like a weekly like special mode that they launch, where if you get like a win in that mode, you get like a free pack. So like, I think that would be a cool idea. Like that, the separate queue where you can only play against other people that are that are fulfilling the requirements with the decks, and then if you get a win, maybe you get like 50 credits, or maybe they throw you like something, whatever. I think that would be a cool addition, and it would also like make it so it's not like another like hot location kind of thing. Like when I play ranked ladder, like I don't really enjoy hot or featured locations too much because I just want to play what I want to play. And like we had we had a hot location the other day that was Krakoa, where it's like buffs the next card that you play, the next card in your deck, and it's like now I can't. I literally built a Cerebro deck to play on stream, and now I can't even play it because now I'm gonna buff the next card, and it's gonna mess up my whole entire thing. So Yeah, I don't really like it too much for the ranked ladder, and I think it would be cool as its own separate thing, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for the idea. I guess the question that I raise is to the general community, and the community can respond whether it's here in the chat or down in the YouTube comments or the pod comments and reviews. Um, would you actually play it though? Like, would you go out of your way to go into that game mode every, you know, month for a week, go into that game mode in particular? Because I think about it from the perspective of something like Infinity Conquest. Some people play Conquest all the time and then they save up all of their, Infinity tickets, and they really like playing Conquest because of the month-long rewards and the month-long incentive to get as many tickets as possible. And then you play only in that 1 week. But this, with it only being available for 1 week, like you're talking about with the Tavern Brawls as a comparison, I don't know if this necessarily takes off that way with Snap if there is no month-long incentive to be excited for that specific week.
Yeah, there's gonna have to be rewards, and it's gonna have to be more than just one game, I guess. Like if you want people to actually like continue playing it,
Yeah.
because I mean I know myself, and chat probably feels the same exact way as me as I see right there. Like I'm not playing it if I don't get anything. Like maybe I'll play it one game to just be like, oh, like this is fun. But like especially if I have to make a deck for it, if I have to make
Yeah.
a whole nother deck for it, like I'm not gonna. You better have some like okay rewards, or else it's not worth my time personally. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think that's how a lot of people are gonna feel.
they were trying to push that type of element when they launched Conquest. If you remember way back when they announced, friendly mode, I think was only the announcement video, and Ben Brode in that video listed a whole bunch of different types of matches that you can pair up with your friends. Because I remember them talking about, the perfect curve deck, and then we were doing, competitions like Cube Rush and stuff where we had to have those themes. And this kind of leans into that. It leans into that idea that they can build a specialty nuanced mode, for a week if you want to participate in it versus something right now where it's automatic and you kind of have to actually know what's going on in ladder because it also affects, and this also we had it confirmed, it will be also happening in Conquest. So you are going
Oh
to have to think
no,
about it. You are going to have to think
no.
about it, like how many Avengers are on the board this week as you're trying to get your Infinity tickets to
Oh,
stock up for next week. You've got to remember, oh, wait a minute, that's an Iron Lad and an Iron Man in that lane. If they play another Avenger, it's also another +3. You've got to start factoring that kind of stuff in, or that turn 6, boom, there's that fourth X-Men. Now there's power being sprinkled all over the board. That is going to have an overall impact on the game.
See, now I feel like I have to do now I feel like I have to do homework. Like I have to go through all these cards
Okay,
and be
I can
like,
help you. We can get you a tutor.
yeah.
It's all right. We can do this together.
Luckily,
I
I'm a
got you.
fast learner, but
This is true.
yeah, I feel like I have to do homework right now because now I need to know like what cards my opponent could possibly play to synergize to get potential buffs and everything when I'm trying to calculate how much power I'm playing against.
Yep.
That's actually, oh my god, you actually just, oh, that
I
makes me
just
so
ruined
sad
your
because
day, didn't I?
yeah, I was planning on playing Conquest, not gonna lie. Like I was gonna play a tiny bit of this and then go to Conquest because I know that they never put these things in Conquest, but now,
Well, now it looks like I need to send
oh,
you some images, good sir. I have to
I'm gonna have to
give you
watch
your
all the
cheat
movies
sheets.
right now
No,
and read all the comics, I
I'll
guess,
send you the
before I.
slides I used for my video, so that way you have a cheat sheet, and they're all
Ah,
highlighted and colored, so it's easy to keep track and alphabetical. Okay, don't worry, I got you.
God.
Sorry,
Well,
bro.
that sucks. It's okay. This is a whole week.
Yeah, 1 week. This will be
Oh my
done.
god.
This will be done this time next week. Yeah.
Oh no! Now I'm getting upset about something on the podcast, and now someone's gonna call me out in the comments too, and they're gonna be like, "D Money's so
But this
negative
is
and
a
pessimistic."
reasonable thing, though. Let's be honest here. This is
Ah,
a reasonable thing because I think the fact that it does affect Conquest in particular, unlike how hot locations do not affect Conquest, I'm surprised that this does. And it's even got me like, as we're here, I'm double, triple checking to make sure that I'm saying the right thing here, 100% that this is happening in Conquest 2. And yes, I'm
Uh,
pretty
yeah, I
certain of
know.
it.
Guess is like never wrong about anything, so it's
Well, no,
probably.
I'm quite wrong quite often, but you know, let's be honest here.
I had such a good run of not being negative. So close.
This is the new theme.
But overall, it's cool that we're getting more events like the Valentine's Day thing. We like that they're trying new stuff. We like a little switch up in the game because it is boring if we just got the same thing going over and over and over. So, um, overall, it's cool. I'm not like yeah, but and hopefully they enhance it. Hopefully uh they make it like a shorter list next time, or they make it into its own mode, or they add some
Mhm.
rewards for actually doing it and stuff.
Yeah.
Everything just like the customization with the borders, like they're all just like they're taking baby steps with these things. They're just trying out some new things, dipping their feet into the water, and yeah, cool. We like new stuff.
I I I think with these types of events, to me at least, one of the most important things about them is warning, is letting the community know in advance. Hey, this event is going to happen. Behind the scenes information here. Um, we as creators found out about the event 3 hours before the event went live. And I'm shocked that this wasn't advertised during the season pass announcement or the video or anything, because this is a really cool event and could have had a lot of conversation be brewed up if we had more time for it. So, like, I was talking to my man D Money here before we started recording today, and I was telling him, because today is my YouTube day. I'm doing my, prepping for YouTube videos for the week and editing decks and all this kind of stuff. And then they announced this, and I was like, what the hell? This goes live in like less than 3 hours. So I'm stopped as a creator. I'm grateful that I can say I'm a full time creator. I had to stop literally everything I was doing, theory craft decks, create graphics, film, music, background, thumbnail, the whole routine, and try to get it up so that way it's ready in time for the community. As a creator, that's a lot of pressure. But for the community, I think it's even more pressure because they now have a competitive aspect mathematically being factored in that they were not aware of going into playing. They could open the game right now. They could listen to no podcasts, no social media, no nothing. Just open the game while they're taking a dump on the toilet. And all of a sudden, what happened in that Iron Man lane there? Because if you actually click the cards, it doesn't show you like the Valentine's Day one did. It showed the little +2 that's in there. Oh, Valentine's +2 is on Mr. Fantastic. It just adds the power and it doesn't tell you why. This is one step short and going to cause confusion until they go complain about it and whine on the internet. And then they realize, oh, this is what's going on. Why didn't I know about this? Or now they read the in game news and, oh, now why didn't I know about this sooner? It seems like it was rolled out in a rush, to be completely honest. But I like the event still, even in its rushed state. There's just a couple of elements in this, rollout, like even the game bugged. I don't know if you tried opening the game today at all. Since they rolled this out, the game was very bugged for like a couple of hours. It was causing even like streamers to have to log off because they couldn't play the game. It kept crashing on them. By the time you hear the podcast, there's already a fix out already. But I mean, it felt like it was rushed just a tad.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I load up the game and I play games and I don't even realize there's a hot location, because like if you don't see it on like the scrolling thing on the main menu that goes across like pretty quickly and like doesn't always show like the one that you want to see, then you just miss it. And like I've had streams where I play for like 2.5 hours and then somebody is like complaining about the hot location. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, there's a hot location? And then
Surprise!
like the one the other day where it was like you get +1 energy. I forget the name of the location. Um, yeah, when Hope came out. I didn't even realize, like I was playing the whole entire time and I was like, yeah, this location is popping up a bit, but like seems normal, I guess. Maybe it's just bias. Yeah, the Tinkerer's workshop or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so I could see, especially if you're on mobile and you're just like logging in for just a second and you're just playing some games, then all of a sudden like there's random buffs out of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of false bug reports after games right now, I'm sure. And
Mhm.
complaints, yeah.
Unfortunately, I think so, but overall, I do still think it's a good thing for the game. They're testing out these new events and they're trying to switch it up. And I would not be surprised if they went down that path of making this its own game mode, outlet specialty event queue area in the future because they only have, the two outlets right now, ranked and conquest. Um, I think that between this event, all of the all of the patch changes and Mockingbird really, being just a very powerful card in general this week, this is a very dynamic week for Marvel Snap. And we didn't even talk, data mines. We didn't even talk about new potential things to come to the game or albums or all these other things that you can go find on all the data mine websites. There's so much information that's now come out from this week, and we as a player base are trying to just decipher what to ingest and what to prioritize. Like even when we plan for the podcast, it's like, what do we need to talk about in what order and why? And if you take any, for me at least, the thing I want our listeners and our viewers to take out of this podcast today is please save your resources next week. There's a lot of cool fun things happening already in the game. Enjoy Mockingbird, enjoy the X-Men and Avengers events, but don't spend a lot of money or don't spend your resources on Cannonball. Just focus on what you got right now because the future is even brighter than where we are.
Yeah, don't spend your money on Marvel Snap right now. Spend it on my stream and It's Guest Gaming's Twitch
Oh,
stream.
look at
Yes,
you. I like it.
that is where
I knew I brought you in for a reason. Even though I'm going to be
I'm a businessman.
kicking you out next week, but
Yeah, I will not be here next week. I know everyone's gonna be so sad. But yeah, I'm
not
gonna
because
be.
you're not here. Not because you're not here, but because I cannot get Z back.
True. Yeah, me and my girlfriend Z3, we're gonna be both in Japan by the time of the recording next week. So not gonna be here next week, but I'll be back from live from Japan the following week. I'm very excited about that. But you'll have to miss me for a week. Sorry.
Yes. So tune in to see who fills
Ooh.
in for D Money next week because guess what? I don't even know either. Thank you all.
It could be you.
It will be me. It will be me. I can guarantee that much. But I just want to say thank you to all of our viewers, all of our listeners. D Money is going to be continuing his live stream here continually, and I will be back on live on Friday morning as I normally do, casting all the fun stuff. D Money, is there anything you want to let our listeners know about going into next week for your content?
Uh, 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 it's
Good job.
good.
Thank you so much, everyone. Greatly appreciate all of the support. This is the Beyond Infinite podcast where we just make things up as we go along. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night.
So yeah. I was not prepared for that.
I know. That's why I did it.